Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into the world of a really remarkable dog, the Chinese Shar Pei.
Oh yeah, you know them when you see them.
Totally. Those incredible wrinkles, right? And that big muzzle, that unique blue-black tongue.
Yeah.
They're just one of the most distinctive breeds out there.
Absolutely unmistakable.
So today we're doing a deep dive into the Shar Pei. We'll cover their, fascinating history, that very particular personality, and the specific care they need. It's quite a package.
It really is. And for this dive, we've pulled together info from some really solid sources. We're looking at detailed guides from PetMD and the Spruce Pets, practical tips from Shar Pei.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, and even personal stories from Shar Pei owners over on Reddit, plus a scientific paper on a skin condition they get. So our mission here is basically to pull out all the crucial bits you really need to understand this dog.
Exactly. This isn't just like spitting out facts. We want to get a real feel for them, find those aha moments, understand why this really intelligent, loyal, but yeah, sometimes challenging breed captures so many hearts. Okay, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so to really get the Shar Pei, you kind of have to start way back. Their origins are ancient.
Seriously ancient. We're talking Han Dynasty China.
Over 2,000 years ago. And they weren't just, lap dogs. Farmers used them for guarding, herding, later even hunting boar and protecting the home. That's a proper working dog history.
It really is. And you can see how that history connects to the traits we see now. That intelligence, but also that, well, let's call it a strong will.
Definitely willful.
Right. And it's interesting, the breed almost disappeared entirely in the mid-20th century. Numbers got critically low.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that close.
Yeah, but then American enthusiasts stepped in. They got a huge popularity boost after being featured in Life magazine, which was great for saving them, but it also unfortunately led to some pretty indiscriminate overbreeding for a while.
And that raises a big question, doesn't it? How did that sudden boom and the maybe less than careful breeding affect the Shar Pei we see today?
That's a really key point. You see it in the appearance, for one. That demand for the look meant wrinkles got, really emphasized in some lines.
Right, because not all Shar Pei are equally wrinkly, are they? I heard there are different types.
Exactly. Some are way more wrinkled than others. There are actually two sort of recognized varieties. The bone mouth, which is often taller, a bit slimmer, fewer wrinkles.
Okay.
And then the meat mouth, which is stockier and has those much more pronounced fleshy wrinkles. And we know those wrinkles are linked to hyaluronic acid levels in their skin.
Interesting. So does that mean the bone mouth type might have fewer of those wrinkle-related health problems we're probably going to talk about?
It can, yeah. The extent of wrinkling often correlates with certain health issues, and that overbreeding definitely pushed towards those more extreme features sometimes. But beyond the look, what owners say about their personality is fascinating.
What do they typically say?
Consistently. Loyal, protective, really smart, but also stubborn, sometimes aloof almost, cat-like.
Cat-like. Okay, that's intriguing. What does that mean in practice? Like they're not super cuddly, or is it more about strangers?
It's more about independence, I think. They're deeply loyal to their family, their people, but they're not usually going to be overly effusive with strangers. They can be pretty wary, actually. And often they prefer being the only pet.
Okay. So maybe not the best dog for a multi-pet household unless you're careful.
Exactly. They might not be looking to make friends with every dog at the park. Which leads us to, the practical side for owners.
Which is?
Early socialization and consistent training are just non-negotiable. You have to start young, like 8 to 12 weeks old. It's super important for managing their natural anxiety in new situations with new people, new pets.
And you mentioned something about roughhousing.
Yeah, they really don't do well with it. They need gentle, structured interaction, not a dog for tumbling around with generally.
Okay, so you've got this smart but strong-willed, maybe slightly anxious dog. How do you actually train them effectively?
Well, what owners report again and again is positive reinforcement. Praise, treats, that's what works. Forceful methods, they just kind of shut down or get more stubborn.
Makes sense.
And professional obedience classes. Highly recommended. It helps them get comfortable, learn manners, and you can work on things like excessive barking, which can definitely be a Shar Pei thing, often linked to anxiety or just needing more mental work.
Right, and that brings us to something important about their intelligence. You said they're smart, maybe even a bit manipulative.
Some owners definitely describe them that way. Clever dogs.
So for a dog like that, mental stimulation must be just as vital as physical exercise, maybe even more so. They're not exactly marathon runners, right?
Not typically, no. Moderate energy, but their brains need a job. And, for anyone looking to really tap into that intelligence, improve behavior with engaging stuff, we actually found a great resource.
Oh boy.
It's Adrian Faricelli's Brain Training for Dogs program. It's all about using fun games and interactive activities to boost intelligence and improve behavior. Sounds kind of perfect for a smart, sometimes stubborn Shar Pei, doesn't it?
That does sound like a good fit. Where can people find that?
Yeah, we checked it out. You can find the link to Adrian Faricelli's Brain Training for Dogs program down in the video description and also in the first pinned comment below. Worth a look if you have a Shar Pei or a similarly clever dog.
Good tip. Okay, so let's shift gears a bit. We've touched on the wrinkles being iconic, but now let's unpack the other side. The health concerns. Because this is a big part of Shar Pei ownership, isn't it?
It absolutely is, and it's why they're often not recommended for first-time owners. You need to be prepared for potential health stuff.
Starting with those skin folds.
Yeah, directly related. They trap moisture, which unfortunately creates the perfect environment for bacteria and yeast. So skin fold dermatitis is really common.
And that means?
It means regular checks. Like once or twice a week, you need to be gently cleaning and drying those folds. Sometimes you'll need medicated wipes or shampoos from the vet to keep infections away. It's ongoing maintenance.
Okay. And it's not just the skin, right? Their eyes and ears look quite unique too. Deep-set eyes, tiny ears.
Yep. And those features also bring their own set of problems. Very susceptible.
Like what specifically?
Well, with the eyes, entropion is a big one. It's inherited, painful. The eyelids actually roll inwards.
Ouch. So the lashes rub on the eye.
Exactly. It causes a lot of irritation and damage. It often needs surgery, sometimes even when they're still puppies, under a year old.
Wow, okay. And the ears, they look so small, almost closed off.
They kind of are. Those narrow ear canals trap debris and moisture easily, making them super prone to ear infections. So routine cleaning, like every 1 to 2 weeks, with a good ear cleaner, preferably one with a drying agent, is essential.
That's a lot of routine care already. Are there more serious, like breed-specific conditions too?
Unfortunately, yes. The most well-known is probably Shar Pei fever. It's also called swollen hock syndrome.
Okay, what happens there?
It's hereditary. They get these recurrent high fevers, their ankles swell up, they get really lethargic, and the really scary part is it can lead to rapid kidney failure, sometimes amyloidosis.
That sounds really serious.
It is. Prompt vet care is critical if you suspect it. But the good news is there's genetic testing available now to identify dogs that carry the trait, so responsible breeders test for it. Affected dogs definitely shouldn't be bred.
That's good to know. Any other unique skin things besides the fold dermatitis?
Yeah, there's something called cutaneous mucinosis. Basically, they have an excess amount of mucin that's like a gooey substance in their skin. It can make the skin feel really thick or even cause these little fluid-filled bubbles or lesions.
Is that genetic too?
It can be primary, so yeah, genetic. Or it can be secondary, linked to other things like thyroid issues. Diagnosis usually needs a vet to take a look, maybe even a biopsy, to figure out the cause and the right treatment. Oh, and pododermatitis infections between the toes, that's common too, often linked to allergies or just licking their feet a lot.
Man, they really keep you on your toes, don't they?
They certainly can.
Okay, so skin, eyes, ears, Shar Pei fever. Anything else major people should be aware of?
Well, like many breeds, they can be prone to hip dysplasia. Also, luxating patella, where the kneecap pops out. Hypothyroidism is seen too. And something really serious is gastric torsion or bloat.
Bloat, where the stomach twists. That's an emergency.
Absolute emergency. If your Shar Pei is a fast eater, using a slow feeder bowl can help reduce the risk a bit. And one more thing, their unique physiology can sometimes make anesthesia a bit riskier, so it's really good to have a vet who's experienced with the breed.
That's a really important point. So summing up the grooming then, it's way more than just a quick brush.
Oh yeah, it's consistent skin fold checks and cleaning, careful eye checks, regular ear cleaning and drying. Plus, the usual stuff like nail trims and keeping their teeth clean. It's a commitment.
Definitely sounds like it.
Okay.
Let's talk about fueling these unique dogs. Nutrition must be pretty key, especially with all those potential health issues.
Absolutely paramount, especially with skin and potential allergies. You need a high-quality food, usually formulated for medium breeds, and adjust it for their life stage, puppy, adult, senior.
How often should they eat?
Generally, 2 meals a day is recommended. Portion control is important, so work with your vet on the right amount. And what's really interesting is how common food allergies are in Shar Pei.
Yeah. What are they typically allergic to?
Often proteins, actually. Beef is a common culprit, and figuring out an allergy can be a long process, sometimes takes up to 3 months on a strict elimination diet to pinpoint the trigger.
Wow, 3 months. Okay. And I read something interesting about protein levels. Too much can be bad.
Yes, that's a really crucial point. Too much protein can apparently cause some Shar Pei to overheat, get lethargic, and scratch like crazy.
So it could look like something else entirely.
Exactly. It can sometimes be mistaken for Shar Pei fever symptoms when it's actually diet-related. So protein sensitivity is definitely something to keep in mind and discuss with your vet.
Good to know. What about supplements?
An omega-3 fatty acid supplement like fish oil can be really beneficial, great for skin health, joint health, both potential problem areas for the breed.
Okay. And on the flip side, what should you absolutely not feed them? The big no-nos.
Right. The usual suspects for dogs, but always worth repeating. Grapes and raisins, highly toxic to kidneys. Chocolate, obviously. And there are online calculators, ChalkTox calculators, that can help you figure out the danger level if they eat some, based on the type of chocolate and your dog's weight.
Handy tool.
Very. Then there's xylitol, that artificial sweetener in sugar-free gum, peanut butter, loads of stuff. It causes a massive insulin release. Dangerously low blood
I
sugar.
heard a tip about that. Honey or something.
Yeah, if you know they've ingested xylitol, putting honey or corn syrup or even jam on their gums while you're rushing to the vet can be a life-saving first aid step to help stabilize blood sugar. But vet care is still essential, immediately.
Okay, good tip. What else?
Moldy food, onions, garlic, all bad. And even be careful with some flea and tick meds or wormers, especially if your dog hasn't been tested for the MDR1 gene mutation. Some dogs with that mutation can have severe reactions to common drugs.
Wow, lots to keep track of. So, practically speaking, how do you prevent accidental poisoning?
Vigilance, really. Always read labels, even on things you wouldn't expect. Keep all medications, toxic foods, cleaners, everything securely out of reach. And if you suspect they've eaten something they shouldn't, don't wait. Call your vet or poison control immediately. Have the info ready, what they ate, how much, any active ingredients listed, your dog's weight, and roughly when they ate it. Time matters.
Okay, that's really helpful advice. So putting this all together, the history, the temperament, the grooming needs, the health concerns, the dietary vigilance, it really sounds like a Shar Pei is a significant commitment.
It absolutely is. If we connect all these dots, it's clear why they aren't usually the first choice for, say, a novice dog owner. There's just a lot involved.
So what does the ideal home look like for a Shar Pei then? What kind of owner or family thrives with this breed?
An ideal home is one where people are truly dedicated. Dedicated to consistent, positive training, to doing those weekly ear cleanings, diligently checking and cleaning skin folds, basically embracing the routine. They often do better with older, considerate children rather than very young kids, just because of the training needs and maybe not enjoying rough play.
And the only pet preference.
Yeah, often they do prefer being the only dog or maybe the only pet entirely, unless they've had really extensive, positive socialization with other animals right from puppyhood. It's just their nature sometimes.
But despite all the challenges, people clearly adore them. What's the big draw?
Oh, absolutely. Their loyalty is legendary. They bond incredibly deeply with their family. And while they need mental stimulation, their moderate energy levels actually make them quite adaptable, even to apartment living, as long as their needs are met. And let's be honest, that unique look is a huge part of their appeal.
For sure. So if someone's listened to all this and thinks, yes, this is the dog for me, what's the responsible next step?
Finding a reputable, responsible breeder is absolutely crucial. Someone who does all the necessary health checks, eyes, hips, thyroid, testing for Shar Pei fever, and who prioritizes temperament and ethical breeding. Or, even better sometimes, consider adoption.
From a rescue.
Yes, there are breed-specific Shar Pei rescues. Sadly, because their needs can be demanding, quite a few end up in shelters or rescues through no fault of their own. Giving one of them a knowledgeable, loving home is incredibly rewarding.
That's a great point. Well, we've really covered a lot of ground today. Feels like we've unearthed a real treasure trove about the Chinese Shar Pei, from those ancient roots and their complex personalities, right down to the nitty-gritty of their care.
It's definitely a deep dive. And it leaves us with maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to mull over.
What's that?
Thinking about all these unique Shar Pei needs, the skin, the ears, the training approach, what aspect resonates most with you? And maybe more broadly, how does understanding this breed's specifics better prepare you to appreciate and meet the unique needs of any dog you might bring into your life?
That's a great question to reflect on. Well, we really loved taking this deep dive with you today.
Yeah, it was fun.
If you enjoyed it too, please do show us some love. Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and maybe share it with a friend who's interested in unique dog breeds or just wants to learn more.
Every click helps.
It really does. And we can't wait to see you again for our next meeting where we'll unpack another fascinating topic together.